Dynamite at Freizeitpark Plohn is the largest steel coaster at the small German theme park. I was excited to see how Mack would follow up Lost Gravity, their initial Big Dipper coaster, and Dynamite rides a lot differently. But is that a good thing? In this video, I'll be reviewing Dynamite. From 2000 to 2017, Freizeitpark Plohn was home to Silvermine, a Zier Flitzer. Upon closing the classic coaster, the park announced they would be adding their largest investment yet for the 2019 season. This would be the second Mack Big Dipper, and it would be named Dynamite. Freizeitpark Plohn is primarily a family park, and Dynamite towers over everything else there. The coaster stands 144 feet, or 44 meters tall, and is a prominent location in the center of the park. The coaster looks great too with its bright red track and light mine theming. The ride's lowest elements take place in an old shed, and the queue line winds its way through this elaborately themed mine that plays homage to the coaster that came before it. And this queue line really is one of the most impressive things about the coaster. Outside the main entrance are these two heckling vultures, similar to the ones you see on Mystery Mine at Dollywood. Then the inside features all sorts of mining paraphernalia and a super cool animatronic. Dynamite started with one train the day I visited, but they added a second train once the line spilled out of the main entrance. Despite how the trains only seat 8 riders, the coaster's short cycle time and super quick dispatches enabled the line to move fairly quickly. It was a fairly busy day at Freizeitpark Plohn, but I never had to wait more than 15 to 20 minutes for Dynamite. I've ridden Lost Gravity, and the trains are identical. The 2 seats in the middle are above a floor, while the 2 outer seats are completely open. The seating arrangement is similar to Skyrush at Hershey Park. Then the restraints are the familiar Mack over-the-shoulder restraints. These can come down hard during the ride from the positive Gs, but I don't mind the restraints because of how open you are, and because the restraints do not inhibit your ability to experience the ride's forces. Dynamite begins with a relatively speedy lift hill, and then you navigate an element most commonly found on a B&M wing coaster, in a wing over drop. And this element rides similarly. The slow roll at the top offers sustained hang time, and the pullout delivers decent positive Gs. While I do love this element, I did miss the extreme first drop from Lost Gravity where you got crazy ejector airtime and lateral simultaneously. But back to Dynamite. You hit your max speed of 62 miles per hour or 100 kilometers per hour on this pullout. This takes place in a tunnel, and it's followed up by this little speed hill. You cannot see this element coming off ride, so it was a very pleasant surprise. Now I was expecting a powerful pop of ejector airtime given the hill's size and the train's speed, but it only offered a decent pop of floater airtime. It was still an enjoyable element though, just not quite as good as I thought. The same cannot be said about the next element. Dynamite crawls through this giant turnaround that feels like the hybrid of an overbank and a top hat, and the end result is nothing. It pulls no forces on the way up, has no speed over the top, and offers no airtime on the descent. It is a complete waste of an element. Dynamite then flies around this 270-degree helix that wraps around and through the shed from earlier in the ride, and this helix pulls some decent Gs. The end of this helix abruptly dips downwards, which offers a quick pop of floater airtime. Like the first speed hill, this is another element that I thought looked more extreme than it actually was. Dynamite then coasts through a circular loop. This is one element that rides better when the ride is running slowly in the morning, because the hang time is even more pronounced in those conditions. Once the ride warms up, this inversion only offers a pinch of hang time, but any hang time with lap bar only trains is a blast. Thankfully, Dynamite does save its best for last. You have this awesome 0G roll. The sustained and forceful hang time on this element is incredible. It is one of the best 0G rolls on any coaster, especially because you have just those lap bars. You then glide around one last turn and hit the brakes, ending the 1,640 foot or 500 meter long coaster. Dynamite may be short, but it does pack a decent punch, especially considering the park it's in. And unlike the original Big Dipper, Dynamite is very smooth. The trains do not have any hint of a rattle or a vibration. Hopefully it remains that way going forwards, because that's one of the biggest issues with the prototype Big Dipper. Another big difference between Dynamite and Lost Gravity is the rate at which you take the elements. Lost Gravity is fairly slow in between elements. Dynamite takes its elements faster. However, I prefer Lost Gravity overall because the elements themselves are superior. Nonetheless, Dynamite is a fun coaster that feels like a larger version of a Gerstlauer Eurofighter, except replace the Beyond Vertical Plunge with a wing over drop. So what would I rate Dynamite? I would give this coaster a 7 out of 10. Dynamite may not be as extreme as expected, but is a super compact coaster with some great theming. The 3 inversions are excellent and easily the strength of the ride. And then the ride also has some forceful valleys and decent airtime moments. I just wish the top hat in the middle of the ride did anything because it's the one dead spot that hurts the coaster's solid pacing. And I do wish those speed bumps had a little bit more airtime. I am torn whether I prefer this or El Toro at the park, but it's definitely one of the premier attractions at Freizeitpark Plohn. So those are my thoughts on Dynamite, the second Mack Big Dipper at Freizeitpark Plohn. Have you ridden this coaster? How do you think it compares to Lost Gravity? I would love to hear your thoughts about this ride down in the comments. If you enjoyed this review, I'd appreciate if you gave this video a like, and you considered subscribing because there'll be a lot more roller coaster and amusement park videos here at Canopy Coaster. Thanks for watching.